Done and done. All right, guys, we're going to move on to dibs, but we are not going to go right into the dibs. Instead, we're going to do some sussing here. I am curious. I looked at this. Oh, apparently I never turned this off yesterday. I am actually curious on what regions we're playing on, and we are going to take a look at that because I am curious about our Euro friends that are streaming. And some of them look like they have some pretty interesting lobbies. In terms of players, it's mainly the UK and Ireland folk who have their own AWS server, if you guys don't know. Yeah. So in the US, last time I looked, that was about a year ago. Last time I looked, the US only used Virginia. It does not use the Ohio server. And based on the ping that I get in lobbies, I'm pretty sure it still does not use the Ohio server. It only uses Virginia for East Coast. And the West Coast is either California or Oregon. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think that BHVR does any sort of load balancing across regions at all. Like, it's just whatever you get, which is why some streamers will get the same players over and over and over and over again, putting aside that they could be in cheater lobbies where they keep getting the same people. I very much think that we're running into a scenario where there's almost no one playing in the region, so it's matching with whoever's available. What you'll notice here is while the US is really fucking huge, and we have 4 servers for the entirety of the US, and there's Canada here too, Europe is also relatively small. But there's a server in Ireland, and then there's also a server in London. And if the servers do not reach out to the rest of Europe, you get people that are stuck on a very specific server with a very small population of players. Ireland being incredibly fucking small comparative to, let's say, London, like UK. And London would probably support basically all of UK, and maybe even part of Ireland. Take a peek here. Oh. So we have Ohio, which doesn't actually work. Canada West soon. Spain soon. There's Paris. It's a really weird looking map. Why the fuck is Spain so far down? Is it normal? It is actually. Like hangs off of France down there. I swear it's up further. Weird. But yeah, you have Paris and Frankfurt, and then you also have Stockholm. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a peek at Europe, and we're going to see what servers we actually connect to. And a couple times, we're going to get a couple different data points here. And see if people are being put in their own regions that don't reach over to any other areas. Which very likely could be possible that there isn't actually any reach over between the two. We'll see though. And I think I'm going to have to load a game and I'm just going to bail right away. Just to see what loads up. The prefixes, there we go. These are the codes we're looking for. So when you look at your connections, it's going to have this in your connection name. It will have this in connection name, for instance. Okay. First off, let's start the game. if I recall, last time I tested this, I didn't actually need to load the game for us to figure out the location of the servers. But that might change. Take a peek here. Yeah, no, I'm not going to show you my connections. Can't do that. I know I'd like to show you guys that, but I can't. Oop. And I don't want to start again because I'm going to get disconnection penalties. And I'm sure survivors are going to jack off if we actually play a full game where I just sit in a corner. Which would be a pain in the ass. I'll probably have to do disconnection penalties in Europe. Yeah, it's showing Compute 1, which is Amazon East, the Virginia location. We're going to start a game, and I'm going to see if it connects to something else. Usually you'll have a lobby server, and then you'll get a different server when the game starts. Sometimes also it has a connection that idles, and then game data starts being transferred on it once you get into the game as well. I'm looking at traffic right now. I'm going to see if this is just a generic server that I'm connected to as well. Okay. You don't need to use a VPN to change your location. Let's see. I'm going to try West Coast first. And see if it changes, if there's just a generic server that's in US. Miami, Dallas, Salt Lake, Seattle, Los Angeles. That's what we want. Go San Francisco. Yeah. going to see if it is actually connecting to the location, or if there's a generic server that I'm connecting to that is Virginia. We'll see whether or not I'm actually connecting to West Coast lobby immediately, because when we get into the lobbies, my ping will be astronomically high. It won't be it'll be like 110 or something. Because it's about the same distance for me to connect to West Coast it is to Europe. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, there we go. Yeah, West 2. Yeah, I'm not playing Wraith. Oh, we loaded in. Yeah. That's funny. Was there no offerings? The fuck is that? There was no offerings. Did I just miss the offerings? Yeah, no, it's the same, Well, since we're here, I'm going to waste one of my disconnects on this. Yeah, it's connected to... Uses almost no data, by the way. Generally, your connections for video games, you don't use almost no data. West 2. Oregon. So even though we're connected to Los Angeles, it's using Oregon. Which you'd assume it would put me on... West 1, I believe, is Angeles. So you'd think it would put me on whatever's closest, right? I guess I use Oregon because it includes Canada. And Los Angeles one would be too far north? Or south? No, it's North California. West 1 is North California. Try again. Oh no, not 5 minutes. Oh, jeez. It gives me time to go take a piss too, guys. It's gonna take some sussing, guys. Basically just gonna be me dipping in and out of matches, what you guys are gonna see here. Trying to figure this out. Right back, guys. The ones I'm really interested in, though, are the London ones or the Europe ones, because in the US it doesn't really matter, right? If it knocks out like 2 servers, the problem with Europe, though, is that they use too many servers. In the US they remove 2 servers, but in Europe, last time I checked, they you actually are put on London if you go to London. Like if I connect to London, it won't put me on Frankfurt or on Paris, it'll put me on London. What that means is there's some very small geographic regions in Europe compared to the US. Even if we use all 4 US servers, like, it doesn't actually do that. Now we get to wait. Oh boy, I love waiting. I love waiting, guys. Actually, I think I can play Survivor. Can you play Survivor while it's unlocked? I've never gotten a disconnection penalty before, guys. Because when you disconnect this killer... everyone just makes fun of you. So why would you ever disconnect this killer? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the DC perk, I won that game, guys. If you missed it, I totally won that game. Totally won that game. It's also another reason I don't want to start the game is because I'm going to have that. And I don't think I need to start the game. So it actually connects the server to the game server, but it idles the connection until the game launches. It doesn't idle it. There's relatively little traffic that goes over until the game starts. And then when you're sitting on the menu, it looks like it just connects to a probably an authorization server, and occasionally sends data to the region you're playing on. Alright, let's try again. I swear to God there weren't any offerings last map. Like, normally you hear the thunk, thunk, thunk sound. There weren't any offerings. That's really weird. Let's try again. Last two. Yeah. 90 MS. I probably could knock this down a little bit if I connected to a closer VPN server. 2. Yeah, it keeps connecting me to West 2, which is Oregon. We could try maybe sussing a little bit and see maybe if it's just the region I'm on right now. Just to be extra safe, so I don't say stuff that is untrue. This is the way that East works too, which is try changing my VPN location. East will only connect you to Virginia. And it discards Ohio. I don't think I can even... We should see if I can connect to Canada. I don't think you can, because Canada is actually closer for me than Virginia is. I'm on San Francisco. Let's do... Los Angeles. I'm going to try connecting to Canada. I would actually be very curious on whether or not they use the Canada AWS, because they are in Canada. They're in Quebec, aren't they? Yeah, I would actually like to show you guys this stuff, so then it doesn't seem like it'd be more verification, but I can't because I'm pretty sure my IP will be leaked if I show it to you guys. So now we're on Los Angeles. And right now we're making sure they're only using one server out of the 2 on the West Coast. That ping look like? Should be even worse, because we were going further south than the Oregon server. It should be even worse, and it is. Added an extra 10 MS. Oh. Yep, connected to West 2, which is Oregon again. So they don't even use, even though the US is such a huge geographic region, they only use 2 of the AWS servers on East and West Coast. All right, so what I'm really interested in, I want to see if Canada, first off, we're going to see if I connect to the Canada server, which is actually closer. It'll be interesting if I get a better ping with VPN. That'd be hilarious. We're going to check Canada, and then I want to check out the locales of Europe. That's what we're really after here, which would explain some of our weirdness we're seeing with streamers. Okay. Let's see. Where is the Canadian server? Canadian server is in... Canada Central. It's Montreal. Okay. I guess that's central to Canada. It's not really. Central to Canada would be more in the central part of Canada from left to right. Ah. Release publishes list of AWS data center locations. Ah, neat. I'm on WikiLeaks right now. This is probably going to put me on an FBI watch list somewhere. Not showing Ohio, though. Ohio's been around for a long time. It's not showing Canada either. Okay. That doesn't help. Let's see. Montreal. That's where it looks like. Toronto. Vancouver. Which is closer to Montreal. I think Toronto is. Vancouver, I think, is further to East Coast. Yeah, Toronto is between Michigan and New York. Where's Vancouver then? Oh, that's over on West Coast. Holy shit. Toronto we go, guys. Okay. Alrighty. Cool. Okay. I think we might highlight this too. This is something I did back when I first started playing the game because I was curious what servers they're using because we'd always get a 50 ms ping. And especially with fiber, I should be getting something like 30 to Ohio, and Denver got that. I get even lower ping if they connected me to Canada. Canada, Montreal's between Ohio and Virginia in terms of distance from me, or hops at least. Ping time. Okay. Now we're on Toronto, so it should connect me to Canada. Okay. Nope. It connected me to Compute 1, which is Virginia. So the West Coast has Oregon, and the East Coast has Virginia. And despite the fact that we have Toronto and Ohio, and then there's also a Northern Washington, I think it is. No, North California. Yeah, so there's only 2 servers that US AWS connects us to. BHVR connects us to, at least. Now, what I'm really curious about is, because it looked fragmented last time I tried this, is we're going to take a look at Europe now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at London. London, I'm very certain, has one, because I checked last time I was there, because I was playing during degenerate hours, and I tried to get away from that, because when I played during degenerate hours, I could play during afternoon hours in Europe, which is just much better than playing with a bunch of cheaters. So, let's go London. There's Ireland, Iceland. I'm gonna go straight to London. I wonder if there's any way I can show you that this without showing you the IP I'm connected to. I think I can. No, it just keeps wanting to dock it with my right window. There you go. You can see we're connected to London right now. Okay. And launch. But yeah, I was watching a player called Dead earlier today, Dead something, and he plays in Ireland, and it was pretty obvious, like he was a pretty competent killer, but he was going against absolute turds for most of his matches. And I'm very certain that it's split up into Ireland as well, which would be an astronomically small player base. I don't even know why they'd use it. I don't know why they'd use London and Ireland if they have this very crude, basic, cryptic matchmaker setup. Why would you mess with either of those? Because it would split up your player base, right? And the additional ping time would be next to nothing to go to Paris. Alright, let's take a peek here. Going on. By the way, right now it is basically plus 6 hours, 5 hours, so right now it's like 6 a.m. So the people that always complain about matchmake times are usually people from London, or from UK, excuse me. And if you're in a really, really small geographic region, that makes a lot of sense. Where we got games for killer almost instantly on East Coast and West Coast, because it is like 12 a.m. I'm on Central Standard Time. It is 12 a.m. right now, In Europe right now, depending on where you are, if you're in Switzerland, it's +7, but if you're in London, it's either +5 or +6 right now. So it's like 5 or 6 a.m. So that makes it you not only have a much smaller geographic area, but you also have, like, this is going to be a really bad time of the day, too. So this might even take 10 minutes for us to connect here, but we'll see. I'm doing this purely to see what kind of lobby we get into, what compute it's connecting it to us to. Ideally, this is a perfect example. If the matches are really slow, it should be connecting us to Central Europe, right? And maybe it does. Maybe we'll do a fallback here and we'll end up on, like, Paris. But kind of doubt it. Let's see. Actually, it might have. Let's see. No, we're on Ireland right now. You can see my ping is in... It's almost as bad as it was on West Coast. It's kind of funny. But I could have made that a little bit better. Yeah. I think it might have actually shifted us to Ireland. But even then, if the UK server is Ireland and... Look how long it's taking to find a survivor. Even if it is, and let's try reconnecting. We're on EU West 1 right now, which is Ireland. So maybe it's load balancing us to Ireland, but that's still really fucking small. Considering half of North America is covered by... Half of the West Coast of North America is covered by one server, and half of the East Coast is covered by one server of North America. These are very, very small regions. Let's try it again. I might have to try connecting to a different area. I think I have another... another UK server I can connect to that's buried deeper in there, so it won't connect to Ireland. If it's falling back, maybe based on distance, which it should, depending on how long our queues take, it should fall back to a bigger region, right? It increases the size so you can find a match. But this is what I noticed last time I was playing. I tried playing at London during degenerate hours. Where my ping was lower too. So there might be some load balancing going on. We'll see. Sometimes it's really weird if you're like next to a location. AWS won't, for instance, think that you're close to the server. It could just fuck up. For instance, when I was playing Fortnite, it always used to put me on the Virginia server. In order to play on the Ohio server, I had to use a VPN to go to Ohio. It was really weird. It would always route me. That was prior to when I got fiber. It would always route me to the Virginia server. So it would give me plus 15 MS on my ping, which was obnoxious. Really matters when you spam building pieces. Oh, we should time this. That's another thing I should do. I should time this and see if maybe there's a fallback time at which you'll switch to a different server. It's another thing I should do. We'll do one more, and then I'm going to break up my stopwatch here and then see if there's a fallback period. I'll have to wait, though. But yeah, this makes complete sense why some people were... I never saw the really high killer queue. I never really saw the really high time for high MMR killers. Even though we definitely had high MMR, I never really saw that. But that's because I play East Coast, and East Coast is comprised of half of North America, so... like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. Busy sussing, guys. Oh, we found a game. Kind of curious. You can see the connection. Maybe not. Last time this happened, it was like 10 seconds before the game launched. 15. No. I think it sets up a game in the background, and if it fails, it doesn't put you in the lobby. If a player leaves queue. It still has a connection to Compute 1. So there's definitely... It's talking to a store in the background. Occasionally talking to the store in the background. But that's not the one where majority of the traffic happens. Why are my queues taking so long, guys? I don't know. I don't want a queue right now. Put aside the fact I connect to Paris, which we're going to do eventually, I'll probably almost instantly find a game because Paris is basically half of Europe, right? Is on the west coast in the central area. Yeah. We'll see. This is literally taking forever, though. Why am I even playing Killer? I could just play Survivor, couldn't I? I hear Survivor queues are supposed to be better in UK. So, yeah, okay. Good. I play a lot of Survivor nowadays, as you guys can tell. But killer queues, if they're that long, would definitely show that maybe they'd flush out more. This also means if there's really long killer queues, there's a larger player base of killers in the UK, and that's why they're taking so long. We're connected to EU West 1, which is Ireland. Still at 133 MS. We're going to do a couple different things here before we move on to the mainland. Do one more. Yeah, so this means... This would also explain, by the way, why some killers get really easy games. Because there's just too many killers. And then it just eventually just tries to put you with whatever because the queues are too long. It's kind of weird. I don't even know why they use Ireland and London at all. Like, if they have problems filling queues or their matchmaker... So this is putting aside the game mode getting... Like, people talk about player base being fragmented. You can fragment the server locations, too. Even though everything's connected, if they don't have followers to each other, which it looks like it doesn't. We're going to do one more here just to make sure it's... Maybe it'll round robin me to a different, like, compute, too. EU West 2, excuse me, which is London. Hey, Slane. Still taking a while. Oh, why can't I click on ready? There we go. And EU West 1 again, so we're once again on Ireland. We got a Russian in Ireland. Cool. That's Cyrillic, I think it's called. Russian alphabet. 133? Yeah, so we're in Ireland right now. Okay. The curious ones are going to be, first off, we're going to see if maybe it's just derping out and it's putting me on Ireland on accident. And we're going to change regions here. Russia's right on the Ireland border. That's, you know, he probably just has a shitload of hackers there and he's like, fuck this shit, I'm going somewhere else. And he, like, literally went to London. Yeah. So Europe again. We're going to go instead, let's see. Manchester. Can I go further north? Manchester is further north than London, I believe. Even open a map for you guys. Yeah, so we were in London. This might even be closer to Ireland, to be perfectly honest. So we were connected to London, and the UK server is in London. So you'd assume that I would also be there with Manchester. Or I thought it'd be like over here, but it's not, like maybe Cambridge. It's not. I could technically use a different VPN, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend time doing that. Let's see. We can connect to Ireland, which we'll definitely do. Iceland will for sure connect us to Ireland, my guess. Yeah. Try Manchester. So the takeaway here isn't that they use multiple VPNs, it's the fact, or multiple AWS, it's the fact that they have really weird breakups, which would explain a lot of why you see weird shit on Twitch in terms of, there you go, Manchester. Which would explain a lot of why some people have some very weird games, because the player base they're playing against is heavily fragmented, and as such, they don't get even matches. Cool. Yeah. Get in the game. I know this might be boring for you guys, but I'm going to make a tweet about this. I'm going to make a video about it, and I'll make a Reddit post about this too. Because I think this is important, and it needs to be addressed. I do. I'm not planning on playing there. Right now we're seeing how the AWS server regions are broken up in terms of this game. It doesn't use all of the AWS servers, and in some cases where it shouldn't be using servers, it's using servers, like in London. Like Ireland and London should be connected. UK, excuse me, should connect to Paris because their player base is very, very small. As it turns out. Because it doesn't load balance. It would be different if players were to be put from like main Europe onto Paris, but they aren't. They're onto London or Ireland, but they aren't. First, we're gonna try connecting as a killer. It's gonna take too long. We'll switch to survivor. I don't think it matters. But if it's doing some sort of load balancing in the background where it drops us on a different location, which it should, if it waits too long for a queue, it'll push us somewhere else. It's kind of funny because they have another server provider in here, I'm guessing for like cosmetics and shop stuff in the background, CloudFront. Actually, I think CloudFront's AWS too, but it's actually using the Manchester server. I guess there's a Manchester server for that. See. Yeah, there's a lot of them. That is the Edge network. But that goes away once you connect to the lobbies. And then it connects you to the EC2 instances. Their cloud compute. Looks like we found a game. EU West 1 again, which is Ireland. See if it goes through. Nope. It's gone. Yeah, so there must be a lot of killers that play in Europe, or in UK, excuse me, and Ireland, comparatively to survivors. Alright, let's try out our friend Dwight here. By the way, when I play Survivor, I didn't play Dwight, I played Claudette. BTW. Game queue. We are on EU West 1. So we are once again on Ireland, even though we're in Manchester right now. I probably actually use a lot of different perks now compared to when I played as a Survivor main. And we have less of a ping now, and that's because I'm connected to Manchester instead of London. It actually depends on where my connection comes in from US. It's not just distance. Because it could go into some different part of UK, and then ping back, and actually take longer if it connects to Manchester. So we're on West 1 right now. BTW what, Slane? Okay, now let's try Ireland. I'm pretty sure if we connect to Ireland, it's just going to put me on the Ireland server, right? Dublin? We're on Dublin, Ireland now. So, the connection that I come out of the US, I think, is from New York. Like, it leaves the US from New York, and then it hits the UK somewhere around London. And so basically we're going to London and then going back to Ireland, and then we're going from Ireland to the location in Ireland that the server's in, wherever that's located. So our ping here is probably going to be like 145 or something, 140, because of all the bouncing around. I'd say 140. Taking forever to load. Cool. Try a killer queue real quick here. Wait a couple minutes. My guess it's not going to go through. And by the way, this is the same thing that happens if we play during a different time of day. They don't just shut off the server. I can check. I'll check tomorrow after I wake up. But I'm very certain, like, they don't turn off the server locations like on a timetable or something to manually deal with the player base. It's just always the same shit. Like, even if they wanted to, they could band-aid fix it, and they don't. This would explain, by the way, why killers complain about having long queues. And it's probably not the high MMR killers that complain about having long queues. It just happens to be the people that notice it and then complain about it are people with high MMR because they take the game seriously. Instant queue. Still connected to EU West 1, guys. And what does our ping say, guys? It is 33. It's actually about the same as it was before. I lied. Yep, it's kind of weird because their Edge Connect is connecting to Dublin, a Dublin server, but that's not the network they're using for their servers. Yeah, West 1. So if you're in UK or Ireland, you connect to Ireland. Yeah, that's it. Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Okay. Well, I wanted to exit the game anyways. I hope someone brought an offering. Can I actually just close it? But I can. Okay. Goodbye. That's easier. Okay. So that works as I would suspect. Now we're going to go to Paris. And we're going to check out the west coast and the east coast of Europe and see what servers are using. They might just even use one in Central Europe, which would be ridiculous. We're gonna go Paris because the server is actually supposed to be in Paris, I believe. It's actually called Paris. Yeah. And they don't use EU South 1, I'm pretty sure. We'll also check. We can check that out. Is it even part of ping? No, it's not. Yeah, it's not even included on here. Okay, we'll check. I'm very certain they don't use... Actually, the server's not live yet. This is on their new map. Milan is... I don't believe live yet. That's one of their new servers. Let's see. Yeah, there's a map that showed locations. I believe Milan's new. It's not out yet. Okay, let's do Paris first. Paris? You were connected to Paris down there. Okay. They should just connect this to Paris, because we're just, like, right on top of it. We'll check that. We'll check Milan, then. Because I have, Spain. Then we're going to check, East Coast, or East side of Europe, and see if they just use Paris. I'm pretty sure they just Paris. Paris, though. I don't even know why they use Ireland. Just like someone forgot to untick a box or something. That's really weird. It wouldn't actually surprise me if someone didn't untick a box. Okay, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick here, guys, and piss beer back. Okay. Let's see if Killer goes through right away. So it definitely does not fall back to a different region because we're sitting on Killer Q in Europe for quite a while, or in London for quite a while. Maybe all of Europe connects to Ireland. I kind of very much doubt it, though. Maybe that's it. Maybe they just use Ireland in Europe. That would be ridiculous. And then we discovered nothing. Maybe it is. That'd be even more ridiculous if they only use Ireland and Europe. Let's do Survivor. Good friend Dwight. We're gonna try Paris first, and then we'll try Spain. I don't know which server it is in Spain. Yeah. Nope, still on EU West 1. No. I take that back. We're on EU Central 1, which is Paris. It's not, actually. We're in Frankfurt. I'm not going to China. There's like no streamers from China. That's not what I'm interested in. So we're connected to Paris right now. And ping's about the same. I think that's because we go like to London. I'm pretty sure the cable comes in over the Atlantic to London. And then we're going from London immediately over to mainland to Paris. It's almost the same distance as going back to Ireland, which is why we still have about the same ping. Yeah, we're connected to EU Central 1, which is Frankfurt. So it's not... It is not Paris, which means they only use Frankfurt and Ireland. We'll see, though. We're going to try... We'll try one more time, and then... Gonna wait a second here to get a different lobby. Try one more time and then 12:20. We're gonna try further west in Europe. We're gonna go to Spain. See if that connects. We might be in a weird spot where it's connecting me to Paris. Same server? No, I'm in a different one now. EU Central 1. So still on EU Central 1, which is Frankfurt. Yeah. About the same as going to Ireland when you hit London. I might just launch one just to see if it's going to put me on a cooldown, though. Okay, let's try Milan. If I launch the game in DC, it's going to put me on cooldown. And finishing the game and having Survivor's Teabag will probably take just as long as the disconnect cooldown. Okay, Europe. And then we're going to go to... We can go Amsterdam, Brussels, Madrid. It's kind of funny it shows Madrid is further away than Oslo, which is in Norway. That's probably because once again, the cable comes into London, and then you double back through Europe to get to the west coast of Europe. Copenhagen, there's Germany, Frankfurt. We can see if they use the East Coast Europe server. I don't think they do. I don't even know why they use Ireland. Where is it? Stockholm. We'll check that. Italy, Milan. Ooh! Zeb is in Milan. Or in Italy, at least. That might be an interesting one. Let's try that real quick. We're going to do that, and then we're going to get a full... No, let's do Madrid first. Get full coverage here just to make sure. Maybe see if maybe we're put on different servers. We're gonna go Madrid, and then we'll do Italy. We are in Madrid right now. You even put a ping on the screen so you guys can see. This is this is a ping time to Chicago, and normally this is about 10 ms for me. You guys can look at that. Okay. Take a peek. Yeah, based on what we're seeing here, is my guess is someone didn't untick a box and they're using London, or not London, Ireland. Because if you're trying to have like a northern server, I don't know why you wouldn't use London as opposed to Ireland. Because a lot more connections, is more central. As I mentioned, where the cable comes in, that would include Iceland. It's more central to all locations coming into it. My guess is there's someone didn't tick a box or didn't remove a server somewhere. Pretty hilarious. Okay, let me check. So we're in Milan now. We'll see. If there's only one server in Europe, Central Europe, that would make this even weirder. Try killer first. See if our queue times change here. Just all of Europe has really shit queue times for killers late night. Actually, it might just be everyone has shit queue times late night. That's a dead spider. Goodbye, spider. London, or Europe in general, favors killers. Edge Connect showing Madrid. So this will probably connect me to Frankfurt if there's only one server in Central Europe, or in Europe in general, mainland. Yeah. Probably be instant. And I'm connected to EU Central 1. That is Frankfurt. So if you live in Spain, you are still connected to Frankfurt. We're gonna launch the game, guys, and I'm gonna see where it goes, even though I'm gonna take a DC penalty. Yeah, look at this shipping. No. Yeah, so it's definitely, we connected to London, and then it goes, well, the cable comes into London, then I'm going to Madrid, and then it's doubling back from Madrid to Frankfurt. So I'm very certain this is just going to be the server that we're on. Like, I can see the connection sitting there, even though it's not transferring much data until the game launches. Yeah. We'll try Italy now, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same thing. What I'm really curious about is the east side of Europe. They're all just connected to... Was it Italy, Milan? Czech Republic would be interesting. I'm really interested more in the northeast side of Europe. See if they use Stockholm. We're gonna connect to Milan. Yeah, the really curious thing here, though, is that they use Ireland. That is very curious. See, I'm connected to Milan here in Italy. Do you have an interest in the metaverse? No. Metaverse just seems like a poopy version of like VR chat. Has to finish loading the game for me to find the connections. There we go. No, not really. They're just basically rebranding VR chat from what it looks like. Someone played VR chat and got hooked on the idea at Facebook and decided that Facebook had to become it. Yep. Let's skip right to Survivor since it's clear that it doesn't load balance to different areas as killer. Alright, and it looks like Italy connects to France too. That's not the actual server, that's the Edge Connect. EU Central 1, so Italy connects to Frankfurt as well. Though this is not correct. Actually, wait. This is actually better than it was when we're connected to Milan. Yeah, I know we're connected to Frankfurt. Now, Stockholm, there's actually a server I can connect. I can literally connect straight to Stockholm. My guess is just going to put us back in Frankfurt. I'm not going to do this for Asia and Africa, or yeah, Africa or South America, because I don't care. We have Stockholm. Go. There it is. Sweden. Very, very rare, mainly due to poverty in Africa, right? Which is also why it's not really been a priority for Amazon to put a server down there. Now we're connected to Stockholm. Because majority of gamers, the most affluent part of Africa is basically South Africa, and in terms of tech too, South Africa, and then like Egypt. Egypt's pretty closest to Europe. So Sweden, Stockholm right here. I wouldn't say wealthy, but they're the closest thing in Africa to a first world country, so. Yeah. I think they actually have a server down there now, don't they? South America, South Hall. Middle East. I thought they had one in Africa. Oh, Cape Town. There we go. So they basically have one around South America. South Africa, excuse me. Okay. My lovely ping look like? Oh my god, 240 MS, that's beautiful. Great. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're in Stockholm now. So our ping time should be fucking ridiculously huge. And it's probably going to connect us once again back to Frankfurt. It's kind of a shame. There's AWS servers like literally all over the place now, and they only use like two in NA and two in Europe, and one probably they shouldn't even be using, which is Ireland. That also explained like why I watched Dead, and he almost never got pallet validated because he like literally lives next to the AWS server. Because he's like has a ping of like 10. I might be connected to Stockholm right now. My god. Which would make sense if they're trying to cover part of... No. No, we're still connected to Frankfurt. They wanted to cover part of Russia. So we're in Stockholm right now, and it's connecting me to the Frankfurt AWS server. Ping 170. So I'm going basically bam to London. Then from London, it goes down to... goes over to Stockholm, and then from Stockholm, it goes back to Frankfurt. Wait a second. Okay, let's try again. Just to make sure. Pretty clear. They have very, very simplistically, they don't do any load balancing. And I think Ireland was a typo. I don't think they should be even using it. Like, it doesn't seem like, based on how they organize the US, I don't think they'd normally use Ireland at all. EU Central 1. We are connected to Frankfurt again. Might as well start a game, guys, and just see where it connects me, and then DC. I kind of don't want to do that, though, because it's going to leave our survivor friends to die horribly. Whereas with Killer, when you disconnect, the game just ends. Yeah, EU Central 1. So all of Europe connects to EU Central 1, which is Frankfurt. UK and Ireland all connect to Ireland for some strange reason. All of NA and Canada connects to either Oregon or Virginia. Okay. All right. Interesting. I've never broken it down so much because I didn't think it really was going to be this broken up. It's not broken up.